So this evening, we're going to touch briefly on the history of Litha or Midsummer. We're going to talk a bit about fairies, since we will be working with them during our ritual tomorrow, and then go right into our hurricane ritual and full moon drum. So it's going to be a full night. We will begin by casting a circle of protection around our entire space, so we can move about freely without having to worry about breaking the circle, and by inviting the quarter guardians to join us. So Birch, if you would please cast a circle.
Okay, one moment. Sorry, I was finishing my cake. I took my hat on.
That's okay.
Shoot, the knife is in the other bag.
Going to use that knife one way or another tonight.
Yep. So the hat does not want to come on that key.
The knife in your hand.
Too loose?
Nope, it's good. Perfect. One must always cast while wearing a hat, if you're me. I got mine. So you want me to go all the way around the building, right?
And yeah, at least, to there, where you are right now, since we had our little experiences last time.
Yes, we're gonna. I cast a circle from the north. I cast a circle to the east. Yeah. I cast a circle to the south. Maybe more like a cross. I cast a circle to the south. And I cast a circle to the west. Circle is cast and closed to all directions.
So
motivated.
So please, if you need to get up and use the restroom, please signal to Birch and she'll open and close the circle. And if anyone comes in later, if you need to leave, please do the same. Don't break the circle.
No circle breaking.
No circle breaking tonight. Carl, would you please invite the quarter guardians?
Absolutely.
Hail, guardians of the east, of air and of knowledge, come with us this night and grant us your protectorship. Hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
Hail, guardians of the south, of fire and salamander, bring us your heat of passion this night. Hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
Hail, guardians of the west and water, of undines and the deep aquatic mysteries, come and join our circle this night. Hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome, guardians of the north, of the mountains, and the strength of the earth. Come and join our circle. Hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
Thank you, Carl. So here we go. Every culture has, at some point in its history, marked the time of midsummer and held it to be enchanted. The Celts, the Norse, and the Slavs believed that there were 3 spirit nights in the year when magic abounded and the world was near to the other side. The first was Samhain, the second was May Eve, and the third was Midsummer. On this night, Midsummer's Eve, of all nights, it is believed fairies are most active. As the solstice sunrise is on one of its days of greatest power, it draws up with it the power of herbs, standing stones, and crystals. In the shimmering heat haze on the horizon, magical energies are almost visible. This festival is the observance of the summer solstice. The summer solstice is the longest day of the year and falls right around June 21st in the northern hemisphere and around December 21st in the southern hemisphere.
The summer solstice marks the zenith of the sun, a time of greater warmth and longer hours of daylight. We experience changing seasons because the axis of the Earth, an imaginary line between the North and South poles, is tilted from true to 23.5 degrees. As our planet revolves around the sun, this means that part of the Earth tilts towards the sun, then away again. Between June and September, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun and gets more light, experiencing the season of summer.
Midsummer fires once blazed across all Europe and North Africa. As far as Siberia, tribes jumped over fires to purify and protect themselves. Such fires had the power to protect the revelers from evil spirits, bad fairies, and wicked witches. They also warded off all the powers of bane, blight, dark, death, and winter. At one time, no self-respecting village would be without its midsummer fire. While in towns and cities, the mayors actually paid for the fire's construction, and the jollies accompanying it were very often elaborate and kind of much. The word bonfire has an unclear etymology. It may be boonfire, signifying a time of goodwill. It may be from the Nordic bon, meaning torch, or even banefire. It could be bonefire, since bones were also used at that time and added to fires.
Blazing wheels sometimes symbolize the sun rolling through the heavens. The ancient pagans of Aquitaine rolled a flaming wheel down a hill to a river and then took the charred pieces to the temple of the sky god. Torches would be lit at the bonfire, and these would be carried inside the milking parlor to keep milk and butter safe from evil magic. And then around the fields and growing crops as a protection and blessing. The torches were afterward attached to fences and left to burn all night. The ashes of the bonfire were scattered in the cornfields to aid fertility. In some towns, the torchlight processions reached lavish proportions. Garland-bedecked bands of people, sometimes called a marching watch, carried lanterns and poles as they wandered from one bonfire to another.
You may think that the erection of the maypole is a tradition associated exclusively with Beltane, but that is not entirely correct. The raising of the midsummer tree is an authentic midsummer custom found in many areas, including Wales, Sweden, and England. The custom was called raising the birch in South Wales, and the summer branch in the north, and the dancing around it in the dance of the birch. Sometimes one village would try to steal another village's pole, and it was considered very ill-fated and a disgrace to lose the pole in this fashion. I will not be losing anything. The bereft village was not allowed to raise another pole until they had succeeded in stealing one from elsewhere, and then the poles were guarded all night by groups of youth and men. In Sweden and Finland also, a midsummer tree of birch was set up and decorated. Villagers danced around it and lit fires and jumped over them on midsummer.
Foliage and flowers are at their fullest just before fruiting begins. This makes it the ideal time to gather herbs and flowers. Customs included decking the house, especially over the front door, with birch, fennel, St. John's wort, or pine and white lily. In Britain, it was custom to visit holy wells just before sunrise on Midsummer Day. Wells were thought to have guardian spirits or water nymphs living in them. Sometimes they appeared in the form of a fish, a frog, a mermaid, a winged serpent, or even a fly. The practice of making offerings at holy wells dates back to the Bronze Age or possibly earlier periods. The Celts and other tribes also sacrificed treasure to lake and river spirits. An image many people associate with midsummer is that of modern Druids practicing their rites at Stonehenge. It is not known whether the ancient Druids used this Neolithic temple of the sun, but its power remains intact today, even when surrounded by fences and tourists. It is oriented to the sun at the summer solstice, which rises above the heel-stone. Some say it should be called the hailstone, as the circle was associated with healing amid summer. Of course, Stonehenge is not the only circle or site oriented to the summer solstice. There are several others.
Folk dancers known as Morris men are also associated with midsummer. These men would dress all in white, except for the summer fool and the cat-eye, who carried the summer branch that was decorated with silver ornaments, such as watches and spoons, borrowed from everyone in the entire village. The cat-eye was the master of ceremonies, dressed partially in male clothes and partially in female clothes, with a blackened face and red-rimmed eyes. At the summer solstice, the sun's strength reaches its zenith. Then at the autumn equinox, day and nights are once again of equal lengths, but the dark is gaining. In the craft, the solar year is often seen as being ruled by two opposing kings. The Oak King rules the waxing year from midwinter solstice to the summer solstice, and the Holly King rules the waning year from the summer solstice to the winter solstice. At each solstice, they battle for the hand of the goddess and the honor of ruling the land. The summer solstice begins with the Oak King in power, but this power is relinquished to the Holly King at the close of the festival. While midsummer is a sun and fire festival, it is also a festival of water. In bygone days, people would make pilgrimages to holy wells at midsummer to solicit cures or to make offerings to the resident deities. Wells and springs come from the earth womb of the life-giving goddess. Along with caves and cliffs, they were regarded as entrances to the womb, which all life springs from and returns to at death. With the coming of Christianity, these wells were taken over by the church and said to be sacred to certain saints. In Ireland, for example, they were dedicated to Saint Bridget, who was originally the pagan goddess Bridget. In Britain, they were made hallowed to Saint Anne, once the pagan goddess Anna, also known as Anu. Midsummer is technically the festival of Sol Minerva, the goddess of the famous healing springs at Aquasuis, or the modern-day Bath. In the south of England, it is at this season that various well-dressed rituals of England begin and continue throughout summer. They were famous. These now, however, as many other things do, come under the auspices of the Christian Church. So since we're going to be working with fairies tomorrow and playing with them, and they're going to be hanging out, I wanted to talk a little bit about fairies. So fairies love to have fun, right? Fairies love warm weather. Ironically, however, it is said that their favorite holiday is Christmas. This is a time of year when they are known to be frequently flying around houses and trying to make their way inside to keep warm, even here in South Florida when we have our cold evenings. Fairies are prone to getting cold, but they love the Christmas season because of the decorations, especially the tinsel on Christmas trees. Fairies usually sleep during the day and come out at night, so it makes winter the perfect season for them. It is said that fairies do get very cold, so they need warm corners in your homes. It is said that their toes can turn into squares and their wings can freeze if they don't have shelter. Fairies love wildflowers and plants. They can grow plants of any species in any area, and they often use wildflowers to accessorize their clothing. So a patch of wildflowers in your garden or windowsill will be an open invitation to the fae. Even though they love plants, some plants are poisonous to fairies. So flowers are safest if you want to lure them into your home. Another thing that fairies love is playtime. They love playing so much that they will sometimes reveal themselves to children and play with them. Last but not least, fairies love music. Whether it is listening to music, making music, or dancing to music, they are obsessed with it. Fairies are extremely attracted to sparkly things. It doesn't matter what the object is, they love anything that sparkles or shines in any way, shape, or form. They also love jewelry, especially diamonds and crystals. As long as there isn't any steel or iron in the jewelry, we'll go into that in a little while. Fairies are fascinating creatures. While many of their hobbies and interests are somewhat predictable, there is a lot of information about fairies that many people are not aware of. Whether it is how they have children or their aversion to iron, there's so much to know about fairies. The belief that fairies are friendly and helpful is not necessarily wrong, but the intention of fairies can differ greatly. Most fairies are witty, long for affection, and love to party with other fairies and beings that they respect and love. If the fairy in your home truly cares about you, they will go often out of their way to bring you a gift. You may not always like the gift, but a gift will be brought. On the other hand, they can also be very mischievous. They are known to taunt and play games with animals. If your cat is hissing in the night or just staring at the wall and you don't see anything, it might just be a fairy. Last but not least, there are also dangerous and evil fairies that you will need to avoid. These fairies have had various names in the past because people were terrified of saying their names out loud. While it can be hard to figure out which fairy is which, take heed before you accept a gift or a favor from a fairy. Fairies always expect something in return, whether they are good or evil. So keep that clearly in mind and be ready with an offering or gift if you decide to work with the fae. During our ritual tomorrow, we will be asking the fairies for something, and we will be giving them a really nice gift in return. Today, fairies are known as being more mischievous than dangerous, although they are capable of being both. Before modern medicine, however, fairies were considered to be extremely dangerous. It was believed fairies were the cause of various sicknesses. The most common illness blamed on the fairies was tuberculosis. Back in the day, some people claimed that tuberculosis was caused by the fairies forcing couples to dance all night, therefore restricting them from getting proper rest.
Already done.
Yes.
Remind you of anything, Ricky? Is that it?
Other than tuberculosis, fairies were also blamed for causing birth defects. Throughout the Middle Ages, birth defects were considered supernatural and were heavily scrutinized in religions. Many religions claimed that children or pregnant mothers were touched by a demonic fairy, causing the birth defect. Today we know these thoughts are just pure silliness. So what do you do if you want to attract some fairies to your home? For starters, get rid of any iron. That is a must. Fairies will not go anywhere near your home that has iron in it or around it. Cleaning up your home and making sure that it's tidy and sparkly is also a must. Fairies love cleanliness and organization. Leave something out for them, such as a bowl of milk, cream, or cake, anything sweet. Fairies love honey and cream. They cannot resist them. Know this though, when they consume cream, they get intoxicated and can get a bit out of control. This even includes their flying skills, so you might want to keep an eye out and keep out of their way if this should happen. Leave out some jewelry or a disco ball. That's a great way to draw them in. If you have a disco ball and pair it with some happy music and low lighting, you're always guaranteed to bring a fairy into your home. There are some people who do not want to have fairies in their homes. So the most common practice is to leave an iron horseshoe above the entrance. Some might say that this has more to do with luck, but it actually has more to do with the iron. Fairies are said to be allergic to iron. It will not kill them, but it will make them sick, and the smell is overwhelming to them. In a lot of folklore, iron can be used to block negative magic, which might explain why the fairies dislike it. Losing their abilities makes them feel unprotected. We know the fairies dislike iron, but there aren't too many other things they dislike. Fairies seem to enjoy quite a bit and are relatively positive in nature. However, there are a few things they dislike and will definitely avoid. If your house is dirty, cluttered, and disorganized, a fairy's not coming near you. In general, fairies will not be found in areas such as trash cans or alleys or landfills. Bells are something else that fairies don't like, unless it is their own bell. A lot of people associate bells with fairies, and there is a good reason for it. Fairies make their own music and their own shiny bells that make them happy. Most bells are made out of steel, a byproduct of iron, and make harsh sounds that resemble an alarm clock. So they don't like that. Plus, the iron in the bells will make them sick. Finally, you said, the one thing here fairies hate the most is being looked at in the eye. See, she turned away. Lore says fairies believe that you can gain control over them by staring into their eyes, so they avoid eye contact. Fairies seem like the type of creature to be immortal and never age. Unfortunately for them, they actually do age. The way fairies age is quite different from that of humans. Fairies don't show any physical signs of aging. They don't get wrinkles, they don't grow any gray hair, and they don't suffer from any illnesses that an older person might experience. Similar to most magical creatures, fairies aren't subject to the same illnesses and physical deterioration that many beings experience during a lifetime. However, they are not immortal, and they will eventually die. There is some controversy on whether or not they die from old age, as fairies can live for thousands of years. Fairies don't get sick, but they can be injured, and they can die from blood loss. Depending on which lore you look into, fairies usually have two wings. The wings of a fairy have been described as similar to that of a dragonfly or a butterfly. However, quite a bit of folklore surrounding fairies claims that fairies don't have any wings at all. Most believed that fairies flew by means of magic and didn't require wings to fly. Wings in folklore are used to represent higher realms of existence, which would explain why many stories do use wings in the depiction of fairies. And fairies don't look all the same. They do share some similar characteristics, but they all are unique in their own way. Most are small and only stand at 3 inches. They are almost always pale and have transparent bodies. They are known to wear a cape that is usually red or green or gray that is decorated in wildflowers. The color of the cape varies greatly depending on the lore. During some sightings, fairies have been described as wearing shoes, but barefoot in others. Like most magical creatures, fairies have incredible abilities. Fairies are so small and light, they can land on raindrops or dewdrops and it won't break. This is really beneficial for them because it makes sneaking around and playing jokes and taking sparkly objects very easy. Fairies can use the vines and thorns of plants as weapons if they need to. Those fairies that are good fairies have the ability to heal those who are broken, wounded, and ill. Whether it is a cut, a broken bone, low energy, or just feeling down in the dumps, fairies have the ability to make you feel better. One of the somewhat controversial abilities of fairies is their strength and durability. It is said that fairies are stronger than humans and can take more injury without being uncomfortable or being hurt. However, fairies are fairly easy to kill if they are caught. While it does make sense that they are incredibly strong, it's unlikely that a 3-inch fairy could physically kill a fully grown human. While a lot of people want to have a fairy friend, there are also a lot who don't. If you can't tell the good from the bad, it may be better to take no chances at all. Sugar and salt are one of the most interesting ways to keep a fairy away from your possessions or your home. Just sprinkle some salt or some sugar around your home. What makes this option so interesting is that sugar and salt won't hurt them. In fact, fairies love both. The sugar and the salt is merely a distraction. When a fairy comes upon a pile of salt or sugar, they have to stop and count every single granule, or so it is said, one by one, before they can move on. Outside of iron, marigolds, four-leaf clovers, and St. John's wort are unlike gray fairies and can be placed around your house. While these methods aren't as powerful as iron, fairies won't take the chance of coming near them. So in our home, there are none of these things that distract or insult the fae.
No.
We love our fairies and our house gnome and enjoy their company and generally their antics as well. Tomorrow we will honor the fae through rituals, song, and dance. So please come with your wings, ears, and sparkly outfits, or ritual garb if you prefer, and remember to bring a dish to share for the feast. So let's talk about this month's moon. June's moon is known by many names: the strong moon, the sun moon, the moon of horses, the lover's moon, the strong sun moon, the honeymoon, strawberry moon, rose moon, and the moon of making fat. Fat, F-A-T.
Making one fat or?
Yeah.
Yay.
In June, the sun has taken over and the fields are growing. Flowers have bloomed. We're beginning to see some early fruits and vegetables. It's a far cry from the darkness of winter, and we typically try to spend as much time outside as possible, except when it's 103 degrees. It's a time for bonding with friends and family and forging what connections we can. It's a time to nurture your relationships, your garden, your career, and your soul this month.
The nature spirits of this month are sylphs and zephyrs, and the herbs are skullcap, meadowsweet, vervain, tansy, doggrass, parsley, and mosses. The colors are orange, golden green, and yellow, and the flowers are lavender, orchid, yarrow. The scents are lily of the valley and lavender. The stones are topaz, agate, alexandrite, and fluorite. And the trees are oak and maple. The animals of this month are the monkey, the butterfly, the frog, and the toad. And the birds are the wren and the peacock. And the deities are Isis, Neth, Green Man, Caradwin, Bindis, Ishtar, and Persephone. The power flow of this month is full but restful energy. Protection, strengthen, and prevent. The element of the month is Earth. This is the month where magical workings are well suited to maintaining and enhancing things you already have. Weed your garden, prune the bushes, and give your lawn all the tender, loving care it needs. Take time to let your personal life blossom as well. Focus on things that improve your job or education, as well as your relationships with family and friends. Let's get ready now for our hurricane ritual and to honor Luna with our voices and drumming. So mote it be.
So mote it be.
So we all know June is also the month that we always have our hurricane protection ritual, because June 1st is the beginning of hurricane season, and we have all the way to November 30th to keep a vigilance and to keep this protection, this umbrella of protection over ourselves and our communities. Now, usually we do this outside, but Tropical Storm Alex had, a different idea 2 weeks ago. So we did this over Zoom, but I think it's important enough to do it in person together again, and everybody get a chance to make your hurricane protection candle. Everything's sitting out there, so afterwards, if you haven't done so already, you can make your candle. We can sit where we are. I think that would be the best for space. We already are in this sacred space, but we will emphasize it by cleansing with our Florida water. Ricky, if you will please do that for us.
Yes, if you want to protect your glasses, you want it on the crown.
You can just spritz it a little. It's going to be very light, that spritzer.
Okay.
So you can breathe it in. I made this Florida water. This is real Florida water. It's citrus and cypress. And it has a sprig of rosemary, a sprig of sweet almond, and an allspice leaf from my yard. So this is South Florida water. So breathe in the aroma. And feel relaxed and safe. We are in a safe space. We are protected. Thank you. Now, if you've been in South Florida for any length of time, you might have seen windows with masking tape on them. It did nothing, but we did it. It's a placebo. It makes you feel like you're doing something. So we seal our hurricane protection circle with masking tape, just as in honor of our ancestors. Josie's going to go around and put a little piece of tape on each person's shoulder so that they can feel protected. And while that is happening, if Lady Florida and Lord Mangrove would lead us in our call and response.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
And keep you safe inside these walls.
And keep you safe inside these walls.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
And protect you and yours.
And protect you and yours.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
And keep out the bully winds that threaten to knock you down.
And keep out the bully winds that threaten to knock you down.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
And protect hearth and home.
And protect hearth and home.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
May your windows hold.
And though outside forces seem to ask for your submission,
And though outside forces seem to ask for your submission,
may your windows hold.
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 So mote it be.
So mote it be.
We want to still light the fire?
Fire tender, would you please light our little fire?
Fire, 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 fire.
If you have your drum or rattle ready for later, please play it. Woo! That fire is very fast.
That's very Maui.
Now, we're gonna call our quarters in our rounds. Each of our folks have their special items. Okay, so you see that the east is represented by the radio. We used to listen to things on the radio before a cell phone. And the south is represented by the lantern. And the water bottle is the west. And the can of veggies is the north. And we're going to all chant together 5 times each. Timmy, hold up that radio and call from the east. In the east, the wind is rustling. 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 Hand to hold up that lantern. Call from the south. In the south, the fire is raging.
In the south, the fire is raging. In the south, the fire is raging. In the south, the fire is raging. In the south, the fire is raging.
Jonathan, hold up that water bottle. Call from the west.
In the west, the water is rising. 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 In the west, the water is rising.
Amanda, those veggies call from the north.
In the north, the earth is rumbling. 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 In the north, the earth is rumbling.
Silence. Here in the eye of the storm, the spirit is calm. We appeal to the goddess in her many forms. Hera, Tempestus, Oya, goddesses that can hold back the ravaging storms, only to send them down to the earth with a vengeance. Please accept our offering to calm the spirit and turn the rain clouds into rainbows. Keep us safe within your good graces. Be with us in this season of uncertainty. So mote it be.
So mote it be.
In the circle, all is calm. We appeal to the god in his many forms. Zeus, Jupiter, Ukko, gods of rain and storm, causing the clap of thunder and the bolt of lightning that sends us all to cover. Please accept this offering to sweeten the disposition and turn the sound of thunder into shouts of praise for you. So mote it be.
So mote it be.
Our bard is traveling, so I will take on the job to remind us of the continuing story of the ant and the grasshopper. We all heard the story of the ant and the grasshopper, where the grasshopper dances and fiddles through the summer. He thought nothing of the coming winter and put no food aside. He had plenty at the time and could not imagine it being any different. He saw his folly later that year and paid the price. The lesson is clear. The goddess helps those who help themselves. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
But there is more to learn from this tale. A caution we might miss between the lines. Let's imagine for a moment that we were so much like the ant, we hoarded and denied help to others in need. That ant was right to give warning, right to encourage and even plead, but should he be the judge and jury when a fellow creature is in need? What about forgiveness, kindness, compassion? The grasshopper couldn't see the danger. Might he do better next time? Is it not for the ant to decide? I'm afraid it was the blessings of the goddess he was collecting after all. Generosity is proof that we believe in her abundance. It will come back to us threefold if it is given from the heart. We have all been the grasshopper as well as the ant, and it is only by her love that we continue to be anything at all. So be generous, pay it forward, and bask in the glory of her abundance. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Would Linda and Amethyst please come up and call for a blessing to our foodstuffs that we have collected for those in need, that we will pay forward.
Focus your attention on the sacred shopping cart.
Send your intention of blue skies and calm winds.
Send it with gratitude that in our time we will find it.
It will come back to us threefold. So mote it be.
So mote it be. All right. If everyone will stand, and we will walk clockwise So everybody head that way. And as you come around, clockwise is this way, yeah. So I'm facing this way, you're facing that way.
Pull out the GPS.
The clocks are round. So as you come by, please pick up a water and a cracker and walk all the way around till you're back to your seat. And if people can rattle while we do. Let's walk. Everybody walk forward. Left, right, left.
Let's go, left,
Come on. Kiss up here.
Put your left foot in, put your right foot out.
Everybody's helping. Oh, they gotta stop and get the water in the quacker, that's why. Everybody's helping. Everybody's helping. Everybody move.
Yes.
Everybody's helping.
We need music to keep us moving, I guess.
Need a cuddle and the music or something.
We're almost there. I can see my chair from here.
Me too. Oh, we're short. We're short. Oh, here.
I had water earlier.
No, but here. No, we're supposed to take them.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Woohoo. You need the water?
Yeah, I need water.
Right, you made it back.
Put out all.
Yeah. Everybody got their water?
Everybody got a water?
Everybody got a water and a cracker? All right. So, our mother Gaia is in Mexico. Everybody, everybody open your water. This is to remind us that hurricane season is about survival, right? Let's not be that person at the deli that wonders why they're out of white cheese. My cat won't eat the yellow cheese. All right. Clean water in time of need becomes more precious than the finest mead. May we never thirst.
May we never thirst.
Good warm water, that's what it'll taste like when the electricity's been out for 3 days. Plain crackers in danger's wake becomes far sweeter than the richest cake. May we never hunger.
May we never hunger.
Let me give a little portion to the Lord and lady. There you go.
Need a bigger,
It's about full.
Just a little drop. Let us thank the Lord and Lady for their kind attention to our situation.
we thank you, great horned one, God of all of nature, for your attention on this clear night, for a future time which may not be so bright. Hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
We thank you, dear Lady, Mother of all creation, for your attention now, for a future date that we won't have to worry about our fate. Hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
Please repeat after me. The earth may rumble,
The earth may rumble,
and water may rise,
water may rise,
fire may rage,
fire may rage,
and the winds may rustle.
winds may rustle.
The goddess helps those who help themselves.
But the goddess helps those who help themselves.
Hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell.
May all things work toward the greater good. Keep us safe, so mote it be.
So mote it be. May all entities attracted to this rite be on their way and go in peace.
Go in peace.
And let us all open our circle with singing. By the
earth that is her body,
by the air that is her breath, by the fire that is her bright spirit, by the living waters of her womb. May the peace of the goddess be forever in your heart. This circle is open but unbroken, merry meet and merry part. This circle is open but unbroken, merry meet and merry part. And merry meet again. This ritual is over. We have made our needs known. The goddess is loving. Let our will be done. So mote it be.
So mote it
Gong.
Gong. Let's drum.